Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you so much. So I have a question for you. Have you ever felt that you are failing? Like no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to get things right. Maybe you are struggling in your career, in your relationships, or even your faith. But today I want to encourage you. I want to tell you something so powerful. You are not failing. N-O-T, not failing. The Bible reminds us that what looks like failure is often just a setup for something great. And maybe you just need to change your glasses so you can see clearly what you're going through. Remember the story of Joseph? When he was thrown into a pit by his brothers, he was sold into slavery and later imprisoned for a crime he didn't even commit. But in Genesis 50, verse 20 tells his brothers, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." What seemed like failure was actually positioning him for leadership in Egypt. Remember the story of Peter? He denied Jesus 3 times and thought he had failed completely. But in John 21, Jesus restored him and made him a leader of the early church. Paul, he was imprisoned, beaten and shipwrecked. Yet he wrote in Romans 8:28, he said, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him." Your current struggle is not the end of your story. It is just the middle of your testimony. So I want you to really focus on the right message. I'll tell you a short story. There was once a man who was a painter. He was painting a large sign for his business. He stood back to admire his work and saw that he had spelled a word wrong. Frustrated, and he felt like a failure. But a friend walked by and said, "From your angle, it looks like a mistake. But from across the street, it looks perfect." So, sometimes we judge ourselves too quickly. What looks like a failure now may be part of the masterpiece in the making. So it's important that we trust God and we don't rush into making decisions. History has proven that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. I'll give you some examples like Walt Disney. He was fired from a newspaper for lacking creativity. Later, he built one of the most successful entertainment empires in history. Maybe financially you're struggling, you've been fired from a job, but that is not the end, but that's the beginning of your testimony, the middle of your testimony. Thomas Edison, he failed over 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. 10,000 times, that's a lot of times. That's a lot of failures. But he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." So I hope you're encouraged that I don't know how many times you failed. If it's 10,000 times, maybe you've just found 10,000 times, 10,000 ways that do not work. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before he became a global author, a global respected author. So it's very important that all these stories are coming to show us that the hardship that we go through are actually not really a failure. If things don't work out, it's not really a failure, but it's basically you stepping into your God's plan. There is so many entrepreneurs, so many studies have shown that majority of entrepreneurs, they will fail at least 2 or 3 times or even more before they succeed. And when we see them successful, we can be tempted to think that they were always that way. And it's like, why is this happening to me? Why am I not like them? But if we tell you the story, we find that actually the road that you're taking is the right path. The path of some failures that will become eventually successes. So I hope that you are encouraged, and I just want you to remember, if you feel like you've failed, congratulations, you are on the right path, because that's exactly what's going to take you to where God wants you to be. Persevere, don't give up. It is possible. With God by your side, all things are possible. May God bless you, and I will see you in my next video. God bless you. Bye.